Kia ora e te whānau. I'm going to reflect on the design process beside a picture of the Erskine building, which was the first Architectus project built in Christchurch, and a quote from Patrick Clifford about our design process, which still holds true for how we work. Here's some examples describing the iterative design process, which is formed by option studies, models, and spatial configuration diagrams. These sociograms, as we call them, show relationships and pathways for people and also address the arrangement of environmental factors, so where people move through spaces, so light and air does as well. And this project closest to me is the agri-partner neighbour of the project that Joe presented at Lincoln University. Is the joys of being left-handed. Precedents are also key, including places we've been and experienced, and also things we've done before. Also important is connections and discussions with colleagues, clients and collaborators. People and place are front of mind, as is developing a thorough understanding of context, physical, cultural, social, economic and political. We're lucky in Aotearoa to have these examples, these 4 precedents, which you might see referenced in later drawings and buildings. You can't talk about architecture in Aotearoa without referencing these events. And I feel like we need to include a psychological component to our context. As a person who grew up here and a parent of young children at the time, it took quite a while to start to feel positive about the city again. And it's easy to forget how long we were shut out of our city. And that photo is July 2012. And then obviously Gap Filler and Festa were great bright spots in the post-earthquake landscape, and it's great to see the practices and organisations that have developed out of that. The St Andrews College community also suffered in the earthquakes and made the difficult decision to demolish and rebuild their beloved memorial chapel. They were really clever. They had a very thoughtful and expressive brief, which told us a lot about their values and aspirations. They had a list of salvaged items that could be incorporated into the new building, and this really interesting comment about the creative tension involved in good church architecture. This is an early concept sketch which basically distills the brief into one issue. You can see the congregation in the round, the solid memorial wall to the north, the indication for a clear facade at the bottom there, some filtering elements to the sides, and the relationship to a bridge which was ultimately replaced. Another principle that endures at Architectus is the saying the section is the generator. So even though these are very simple drawings, the section drawings, they show the interior and exterior profiles, the interior space, environmental response, and they even give some indication of material, where you can see the solidity of the memorial wall. Is the early site plan speaking to site and context. And here's just the old chapel on the site. You can see the ghost of the new one underneath. Looking at the seating, the community in the round, and the relationship to the sanctuary and the landscape beyond. The solidity of the memorial wall with those spaces carved out, and then the folded glazed screen to the south, which those two elements are setting up that creative tension. They've been Patrick refers to them as timeless and universal, this solid memorial wall, and contextual and situational the glazed screen. This shows the sculptural roof form, which references some of those forms and also the early V huts. The bell tower is in the same place as the original chapel. Again, some sections that sort of describe the roof, the relationship with light, how it acts as a structure, and then a reference to the memory, referring to the old gabled chapel in that photo at the bottom. Again, an illustration of the optioneering that we do during the design phase, the models optioneering, looking at different roof forms, and the roof being constructed on site. This is the interior. Ian Lockhead has written about the interior valleys forming a pair of wooden hulls, evoking the traditional metaphor of the church as a ship. Cladding the underside of these hulls turned out to be a little bit challenging on site when the dead load of the structure turned out to be, the rafters that span from one side to the other turned out to be a little bit different than anticipated. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but so this sort of describes how the design process, or optioneering and prototyping, has continued on site, and we've crafted the solution with the help of some very skilled carpenters. We were really lucky on this job to work with a lot of incredibly skilled builders and a lot of people with connections to the school. So everyone was really committed, and I think people felt like it was a really important, special building to be part of, and they were proud of that. So it was a great experience. Here's the bell tower from underneath in the same spot as previous. The old bell tower with the bell and the old bell polished up in the new location. Okay, the memorial wall, an early model, block model. The external wall and the elements in there, we also included some bricks and some tiles. The internal space, everything in there is integrated, which turned out to be a nice, organisational convenience that revealed another lot of important connections. And this wall holds both the literal and metaphorical memory of the former chapel and the fallen old collegians from World War II. This was setting out those bricks on site from that carved out baptismal font, the finished product. We worked with a stonemason to decide where the gargoyles and cornice went, and again a finished element on the memorial wall. The stonemason deconstructed everything and numbered every stone, and then he put them back together. I just helped decide where the bricks went. Again, this is the old bell tower, which is a door into a special contemplation space. And this is the building finished with the old bridge. And this is a drawing from the developed design stage, just to show that consistency of the concept is carried through. Things have changed, but the idea, it was consistent all the way through. And then just to finish up on a slide with the people in it, because my fellow co-presenters have said, it's all about the people. That's why we do it. Thank you.